This is your CEO assessment tip of the week. Today we're talking about, can your CEO candidate manage a team? Managing is much different than leading. Here we're talking about the CEO's ability to set and achieve organizational objectives and to keep the team running in peak performance. When I assess a CEO in this area, I usually look at 7 key areas, but I just want to create a short video for you. So we're only looking at point number 3 today, which is the CEO's ability to communicate and articulate the common goal of the team. What does this mean and how does it work? Let me give you a quick example. A CEO friend of mine is working day and night on a presentation to give just before everyone goes on Christmas vacation about what they're going to do and achieve in the coming year. And he spends 2 weeks working on this thing, and he's really excited to give a presentation to the team. What's the problem? The problem is, out of the 5 direct reports that are going to be in this meeting, 3 of them are planning to quit as soon as they come back from Christmas vacation. So what he thinks that in the first or second week of January, they're all going to be taking off in full stride. He's actually going to receive 3 resignations. So all the work he's putting in that presentation is pretty much going down the tubes. The problem is he's not articulating the common goal of the team. The team has no interest in doing what he wants, or the organizational goals and the personal goals of the direct reports are totally separate. Now, if you're operating in a big city and one of your direct reports wants to raise horses and live in the country, you have an attrition issue that this person is going to leave you unless you want to open off an office in the country, or however you're going to work with them. But you need to understand what are the personal goals of the team. And CEOs who don't take time to understand what message is being received, what's being understood in terms of what we want to achieve as a group, and having the feedback mechanism to understand what is it that you as an individual really want to achieve with your career and your life, and do we have a match there? CEOs who don't understand this, they will get blindsided by resignations or exits or all kinds of unpleasantries which can occur. Or CEOs that do understand this are always ahead of the game. They're always ahead of the ball. They're not getting surprised by what their direct reports are doing. So a couple questions that I would ask is, how do you communicate the organizational goals to the team? And what structures or processes or actions do you take to allow the frontline staff and your direct reports to provide feedback to you and provide input into what the goals are? So what do you have coming from bottom up versus just top down? The second question that I would ask in this area is, can you give me an example of a time you noticed that one of your direct reports had personal goals that were incongruent with the organizational goals of the business? So just to give you a quick example of that, individual was very bright, graduates high school, top of the class, is offered a full scholarship by one of the national oil companies to go to any university in the world. The individual exercises their right to the scholarship. The catch of the scholarship is you have to come back and you have to work for 3 years for the oil company. So the individual does that, takes the scholarship, comes back, works 3 years, to the minute, the minute, the hour that 3-year period is finished, what happens? Individual leaves the oil company. So how does that investment help at all? The common goal of the team is not being articulated. This person doesn't like oil and gas. They don't want to work in oil and gas. They don't want to be an oil and gas engineer. And then the leader says, oh, look at that person. They're transitional. They're not dedicated. They're not committed. Well, no. From the get-go, that person's goal was always to quit. Before they started their first day of work, they knew they were quitting that job. So the goals of the team and the goals of the organization have to be aligned. Smart CEOs take time to create bottom-up structures to allow the frontline staff and to allow their direct reports to tell them about where are you going, where do you want to go with your life, what are your goals, what are your personal goals. If the personal goals of the team are not aligned with the organizational goals, you will not execute your plan. You will not be successful. And if the personal goals of your team and the goals of the organization are completely aligned, then you have an unstoppable force that's firing on all cylinders. And this is what we look for when we're doing our CEO assessments, is that emotionally intelligent CEO who understands the human condition and understands that it's not about what message they're giving, but what message is being received, and getting that alignment between the personal and professional goals. So many performance management systems do not even touch on personal goals. They don't even have a section for personal goals. If you just have that piece of paper there and you say, hey, write your personal goals, all of a sudden they start to write out. For example, one of the boards said, Shane, we have an internal candidate for this role. Can you interview them and let me know what you think? Within 5 minutes, the candidate's telling me that next year he's gonna quit after he gets his bonus and him and his son are gonna go open a restaurant in Hawaii. Well, why is this information being missed? They are just simply not asking. So this is one of the key areas you want to look at. Can your CEO articulate the common goal of the team, and do they understand what that means? That is your CEO assessment tip for the week. Those are a few questions you can use to catch a CEO off balance. If you like those, you could pick up our book, CEO Assessment and Selection, which has over 400 questions that you can use in your CEO interviews. Also, on our book page, you can download a free sample of the book, and you can get a link to our book page in the description of this video.